A marble fragment of the Parthenon temple has been returned to Athens from a museum in Sicily. A move officials hope will advance efforts to have the British Museum send back ancient sculptures from Greece's most renowned ancient landmark. Athens Acropolis Museum presented on Monday the Fagan fragment, a 35 by 31 centimeter marble fragment showing the foot of the seated ancient Greek goddess Artemis, brought home from Antonio Salinas Archaeological Museum in Palermo.
It is a marvelous way that the Sicilian friends and the Italian friends thought about to bring it back where it was born.
It is to be placed in the Parthenon Gallery, a glass-walled chamber with a view of the Parthenon that displays sculptures from the temple's 160-meter-long frieze in the same position as they were on the original monument, with plaster copies replacing pieces that are now mainly in British Museum.
Noi come Sicilia abbiamo la volontà di restituire il frammento al Partenone e alla Grecia. Non diamo messaggi ad altri musei, però speriamo che questo primo passo compiuto dalla Sicilia possa favorire anche in altri paesi una decisione simile.
Part of Sicily's Cultural Heritage Agreement, which provides for transfers and exchanges of artifacts between museums, the Parthenon fragment will be loaned to Athens for 4 years with a renewal option for another 4. But talks are underway between governments for the piece to remain permanently. In return, the Acropolis Museum will loan Palermo a 5th century BC headless statue of goddess Athena and a 8th century BC amphora from the geometric period for 4 years. The Fagan fragment is part of a large sculpture in the Acropolis Museum that is mostly a plaster copy whose original pieces are in the British Museum. The fragment was once part of the collection of the 19th century British Consul General to Sicily, Robert Fagan, a diplomat and archaeologist, before it was purchased by the Royal University of Palermo in 1820 from his widow after his death. It is not clear how Fagan first acquired it. The Fagan fragment is the first piece of the sculptures of the Parthenon to return to Greece from a foreign museum. Athens has campaigned to have the Elgin marbles, as they are often known, returned from the British Museum since they were removed by British diplomat Lord Elgin in the early 19th century when he was ambassador to the Ottoman Empire, then ruling Greece. The British Museum bought the marbles in 1816, and British officials say they had been acquired legally by Elgin, a claim Greece denies. The British Museum say there are no current discussions with Greek government on their return.
Στην ουσία δίνουν τον οδικό χάρτη για το πώς θα μπορούσε να δρομολογηθεί η οριστική επιστροφή των γλυπτών του Παρθενώνα στην Αθήνα.
Greek Prime Minister has offered to loan significant artifacts to Britain in return for the marbles, after decades of rejected appeals.
It paves the way also for the British Museum to enter into serious discussions with the Greek authorities in order to find a solution that would be mutually acceptable.
When Greek Prime Minister visited Downing Street in November, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson told him that the issue was one for the British Museum and not for his government.
I did raise the issue when I visited the Prime Minister, I felt encouraged by the statement of the Prime Minister that the British government would not oppose a possible agreement that could be reached between the Greek authorities and the British Museum, and we certainly intend to take this issue further, and that's why I think that today's event, this return of this important fragment, is such an important event.
In March last year, Johnson told a Greek newspaper that Britain was the legal owner of the marbles. Recently, European countries such as France, Spain, and Germany have stepped up to return looted artifacts in their museums back to their African countries of origin.
When there is a will, there is a way, and this will happen. Sooner or later, it will happen, and we're looking towards constructively engaging with the British Museum to find, again, as I told you, a mutually acceptable solution.